when I see Kamal Hadden go to the Kansas City Chiefs and I see Jaylen Wright go to the Miami Dolphins, it just makes me happy because Tennessee players and Tennessee fans have gone under so much scrutiny and so much duress over the past decade. I'm happy for Jaylen Wright and Kamal Hadden, to be real honest with you.
Yeah, so I agree, and I'm going to start this. So I just closed our poll question of the last one over whether or not you will root for Joe Milton, and 81% said yes. So we have a new poll question up, guys. Please bring it up, and it is: which former Vol had the best landing spot in the NFL? And I wrote Jaylen Wright, Joe Milton, Kamal Hadden, or an undrafted free agent. Please vote, and also on Twitter, if you name undrafted free agent, please name the undrafted free agent in the comments. Nobody's saying Joe Milton so far, and they're all right. It's down to Jaylen Wright or Kamal Hadden. Jaylen Wright is in an amazing situation. Miami loves the speedy running backs, so they're going to turn you into a Pro Bowler. They have two other speeding running backs on the roster right now. Jaylen Wright will be part of a three-headed monster where he'll make an impact. But Dave, here's what's crucial about this with Jaylen Wright, and here's what's crazy about it. Jaylen Wright can rack up yards at Miami while avoiding being run into the ground. And here's why. This is something that's very interesting. Mm-hmm. So Devon Akaney and Raheem Mostert are the two-headed monsters at the position right now. Okay. Mostert's contract is up in 2026 and Akaney's is up in 2027. Wright's would be up in 2028. So let's think about this for a minute. Wright will spend time the first 2 years. He'll spend his first 2 years in the NFL being third in carries on the team in carries, not taking too many hits. He'll spend his third year being second on the team in carries. And then on his contract year, he'll be getting the bulk of the carries, which will secure him to get a giant contract right after that without being run into the ground. Isn't that the perfect situation if you're Jaylen Wright?
Yes, but the NFL is going to try to use and abuse him, run him into the ground, and then ship him off after that initial contract. They're going to try to do that. Now, does he prove that he's of the Saquon Barkley or Ezekiel Elliott level to get that second big contract? I don't know. But I will tell you this. I would rather take my shot as a running back in Miami with that offense that put up 70 last year. And I was like, double take. Is that right? That's one of the best offenses we've seen in recent memory. I'd rather take my shot there than being in Kansas City. Nothing wrong with that program, obviously, but it just seems tailor-made in South Florida for Jaylen.
It does. It does. And, the weather, it's perfect. The offense, that's what I was saying, though. The offense is a perfect fit for Wright. But then there's also just the fact that, Wright will be the third string back his first 2 years there and still pick up yards as a third string back, by the way. So he's not going to get abused the way you think. He won't get abused until his final year. And by the way, your contract year is the year you want to get abused and run into the ground, right? Because that's the year you want to get a big contract. So yeah. I think this is run perfectly well. But are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
You tell me if I'm crazy, Dave. Kamal Hadden is still in a better spot.
No, he's not. I feel like you're throwing this one out there just to be contradictory. Just give me one reason. I don't know. I'm asking.
I will give you multiple reasons why Kamal Hadden is in a better spot. First of all, the Chiefs are going to be a little bit biased to Kamal Hadden. And there's a reason for that. There's two reasons. One, the legacy of defensive backs at Kansas City. A man by the name of Eric Berry. That's part of it. Mm-hmm. But the other big reason, there's this other 6th-round guy they took from Tennessee who fell to the 6th round because of injury issues, just like Kamal Hadden. And
I think he's Trey. Is it Trey or a 3 or what is it?
His name is Trey.
Yeah. He ended up being pretty good.
Should have been a Trey round pick because that's a 3rd round pick. But instead he fell to the 6th round, and he's now considered the biggest draft steal in the NFL on the offensive line. You don't think
if this were the Tennessee Titans, I would be on board with their leaning towards picking Tennessee players. But if you're suggesting they want a Tennessee pipeline like the Eagles want Georgia players, then Dylan says Crazy Caleb needs to put the bottle down again. And I can't say that I'm arguing with him. What is in that coffee mug there, Caleb?
Cocaine. I'm kidding. Wait, but there's one other gigantic point. Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, his favorite thing to do is develop defensive backs that are late round draft picks. That's what he's famous for. That's who Kamal Hadden is going to play for. They're going, because of Steve Spagnuolo's defense, they are going to be totally laser focused on trying to make Kamal Hadden work. And so I'm telling you guys.
Well, Kyle agrees with you, so you're not all by your lonesome. And hey, I guess it depends on what you would rather do. You're going to be, if you take care of your money, you're going to be rich either way, right? So would you rather live in South Beach and be a part of what could seriously be like a generational, like the greatest show on turf type of offense, and they could have that sort of run? Would you rather be a part of that, which may or may not win you championships, or would you rather go to the Chiefs? Whereas if you stay for 3 to 5 years, you're probably going to win a championship. Me personally, I would take the championship. But
I would absolutely take the championship.
Jaylen Wright has to get his family paid too, right?
Yes, Jaylen Wright absolutely has to get paid. Also, cornerbacks get paid, probably are better off getting long-term deals than running backs. I mean, I'm just saying, Kamal Hadden's not going to be running to the ground. You can, and you know this, Dave, you can develop as a cornerback into a system and then get deals. I mean, Emmanuel Mosley's a former Tennessee player who did that. And so I'm just going to tell you, Kamal Hadden is in a better spot. Y'all can think I'm crazy. That doesn't mean Jaylen Wright's not in a great spot, though. They're both in good spots. Joe Milton is not.
But Joe Milton's not in a bad spot. Joe Milton's just not a very good quarterback. And that's the last thing I'm ever going to say about Joe Milton. But it's just that's it. I mean, he's just. Would there have been a great spot for him? What's a great spot?
Buffalo. Buffalo would have been a great spot for him, because Buffalo, if there's anybody that could turn Joe Milton into a good quarterback, Sean McDermott could. Because Sean McDermott turned Josh Allen into a good quarterback.
Buffalo would have been a good pick, and he could sit behind Josh Allen, and you would think learn. You would certainly think. So that would be a good pick, but where else? We're talking about one franchise. That to me means a player's extremely limited.
Oh, he's absolutely extremely limited. We know that. That's why you have to get there. Are, it's funny. You say everywhere, somewhere, nowhere guys for recruiting. You kind of got to do that with quarterbacks, right? There's everywhere, somewhere, nowhere guys. There are guys that I don't care, like Peyton Manning. Wherever he went is going to be good. You throw the coach out and you say, let Peyton Manning run the offense and give him an all season, right? And he'll make him good. There are somewhere stars at quarterback. When I say the word somewhere stars, what I mean is quarterbacks who, if they're not in the right situation, they are flameouts. But if they're in a good situation, they could be stars. I think of like Cam Newton was a perfect situation. Mike Shula worked perfectly with Cam Newton at Carolina. He became a star. I say this, Dave, this is crazy. Maybe Ryan Leaf could have been a star had he gone to a better situation. I mean, honestly, he had the talent to be great.
Well, it's not the example I would have used, but there are examples like that. There certainly are. I don't think he wanted to be an NFL quarterback. I think he wanted everything that goes along with being an NFL quarterback, which is a little bit different.
Fair. That is fair.
I think Peyton Manning wanted to be an NFL quarterback, and he didn't give a damn about Manning cast or whatever may be down the road. Ryan Leaf, the reports, you can believe what you want to, kind of tanked with the Colts so that he could live in San Diego. That to me, even if that's a thing, and I've heard him talk about it, and he's admitted to it, that to me, to not want to be the number one pick in the first round is reason enough to take Manning over to Leaf.
He says Bill Polian lied on him for that, though. He says Bill Polian is a liar, basically. He says that
I've heard him admit that he did not want to go to Indianapolis, that he wanted to go to San Diego and drug his feet a little bit.
Okay, well, and maybe not the best word given what he ended up getting addicted to, but given his demons, he said drug. But I get what you're saying with that. I think that okay, but you know what I'm talking about though, right? Now you're right. There are some quarterbacks like look, Jamarcus Russell would have been a flame out anywhere because Jamarcus Russell was the ultimate disgrace of a human to play quarterback in the NFL, and I would never.
Yeah, but I want to get back to Joe Milton. So go ahead.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go with Joe Milton. Most of these nowhere quarterbacks with raw physical abilities, they're nowhere quarterbacks because they're lazy and just terrible people, and they just want the money and they don't care.
But Caleb, what I want to ask you is, do you agree with my assessment that he is not going to be a guy that carries a clipboard around for 6 to 8 years? He's either going to hit, something's going to go good for him, or he's going to be over it.
Yes,
it's been a long NFL path for a guy that's just in his mid-20s.
Yes, the talent is too raw. The talent is way too raw to where if he's carrying a clipboard, someone's going to be like, we got to put this guy in.